Welcome to the OA Dynasty Forum.
Here at OA Dynasty Forum, we talk about the process that is involved on every journey to success, and we're there to lay it all bare.
Expect to be informed, transformed, and blessed as you come on this journey with us. Enjoy the journey.
Yes. Hi everyone. Welcome back to OA Dynasty Forum. My name is Anthony, and this is my lovely wife.
Yeah, my name is Tolu.
Yes, and together we're the OA Dynasty. And as you know, on this forum, we talk about the process on the journey to success, and we're there to lay it all bare. And today it's gonna be, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be, smooth. It's gonna be fantastic. Why did I say that? Because we have an amazing couple in the house today. But the first time I sat with these guys, I was like, what have I been doing? I should have been friends with this guy, like close for a long time. Anyways, to cut the long story short, today we have the Johnsons in the house, all the way from the United Kingdom. Drum roll!
It's our pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you so much for obliging us and agreeing to come on our show. Like my husband has said, that we are friends, and of course, we've learned a lot from you guys indirectly, and we would like you to share this wisdom as well with some of our viewers, especially as it relates to process to success. And so we are going to be having this in 2 sessions. So the very first session would be focused on life generally, business, and new country. And before we go on, we want to tell you guys, so we want you to engage with us. Like, really, we love to read your comments, right? We want you to share with your network, and also we want you to like this video, because by liking it, the algorithm in YouTube will begin to kind of just show it to people. So please engage with us in the comment section.
And for those who are joining us for the first time, you are welcome to the channel. You're welcome. Subscribe, like my wife said, share the video. And for those who have been with us from the beginning, double thumbs to you guys. You guys are the real MVP. Okay, the Johnsons, can we meet you, please?
Okay, so I'm Gaga Johnson and
I'm Tosin Johnson, and we're, like we said, we are the Johnsons basically. We've been together since December long before that, but we got married December 2017, and we have 2 sons actually in our marriage. God has blessed us with 2 sons, Isaac and Daniel, and like you rightly said, we live right now in the United Kingdom. We used to live in Newfoundland, and now we're in London. Personally, I'm into business. I run businesses, and my wife will be good.
Well, I'm a project practitioner, and I also have my own business.
Whoa.
Yeah. You need to really listen. Like, if these people are, what's it called now? They are
loaded.
They are mining gold. All right. Thank you so much for that brief introduction. So we're going to leave a link to their, social media platform in the description box. So if you want to connect with them, please feel free to do so. All right. So our first question: you run a business, right? Okay. So was it very smooth starting out a business? And of course, you're not in your birth country, like you're a successful immigrant, we can say that. So how has it been like, running a business, starting out the business and also running it? How has it been like for you guys?
Funny enough, if it was a couple of years back, I would have said we run one business, but now my wife runs a business also. So we have two businesses sort of in the house. But personally, I started venturing fully into business in Canada in 2016, 2017, and it wasn't always smooth. No, it wasn't always smooth. There are challenges that come with starting a business. There are challenges that come with starting a business in a different country. But then I think over time, I learned to embrace the challenges. Basically, I think there are different experiences. There are people that go into business and they just get it the first time. For me, that was not the case. I started multiple businesses and failed at many of them before getting to the place where I started to see fruit. You know, there were some times when I felt like, guy, do you know what you're doing? Better just go and carry listen and go and look for a job and go and work and stuff. Like, which nothing is wrong with that, but I just felt that I really wanted to follow the business line. And so there was a lot of persistence, there was a lot of grit, staying with it and just showing up regardless of the result, right? And today the story is very different. How about you? What's your business story?
Well, for me, I would say that I never thought I'll ever do business to start with. Because I think my idea for business was more of, buying, selling, having a product. I never thought that there was going to be a business of, selling in terms of your knowledge. Yeah. Right? Because it's not tangible.
Exactly.
So that was that. I would say that when we even got married, like we're talking about business, and I was just telling him that you're the business guy in the family, that's it. But now that I have a business, right, I'm actually doing business in terms of teaching people, how to pass, professional exam, the PMP exam. I'm teaching people how to accelerate their career, and it's just amazing how, the world of business has changed, and it's just amazing how that has happened. And that's how I started business. From passing my exam, my PMP exam, lots of people wanted to know, how do you do it? You're so busy, you have so many things going on, and you're able to pass, you did it very well. And that just opened my eyes to see that, there is more to business, and I can actually impact people, in this way. And I think business for me is more about impacting people and reaching out to lots of people to be a blessing in their life and help them to be better and achieve their professional goals. That's what business is. Yeah. And it's been good for me. I didn't. He has a different story because he started so many businesses and failed at so many times. But I think because I had a career as well, right? So I was taking I didn't like put all my eggs in one basket, to put it that way. So I had time to scale or grow my business in little steps, right? So I had time to learn before investing in things, before investing in things. I had my career there. So I think that's where there's two like different stories, right? He was just business, so he had to put all his eggs into it, get it done, whatever. And as you can imagine, you'll see some hiccups, some failures there and all. But I think I've learned a lot from even the failures of his own business when I was building mine, right? Because I didn't make some mistakes that he made, because I saw the mistakes he made. Not even mistakes, really, it's part of the terrain of business, I would say.
Oh, that was powerful. And Brother Sine, there's going to be a follow-up question from me on that, because someone said failure is just an event. It's not you. Maybe there's someone who is starting a business and the business seems to be crumbling and things like that. I just wanted to touch up on what were your experiences. How did that make you feel that you started something that, let's say in quote, failed? How did that make you feel, and what are the lessons you learned from it? Because now Sister Gaga learned some lessons from you, that made her to, have a smooth sailing with respect to establishing our own business. So can you share your experiences with us? How did that make you feel when those businesses didn't work out? What are the lessons you took out from those experiences?
Yeah, so I think actually the very first business I tried to run in Newfoundland was a taxi brokership business. And so I had done my research and it seemed very viable. I actually went and invested a lot of money into the business, bought a couple of cars and everything like that. And now, looking at it from benefit of hindsight, I can see some things that were obvious red flags. That the way that business was structured wasn't going to be. People always say that there are people that have businesses, they call it businesses, but really it's a job in quotes. And what they mean by that is basically you don't run the business is the one running you. And that's the story of what that taxi business was like, because it was a brokership a bigger company who had built a structure for themselves. And so they were not really thinking about me. And so I, coming in there, did not really understand that. And so I felt we were doing a partnership. But then it was one person winning and one person losing. And so that was one of the experiences I had at the beginning. Learning by hard knocks, by experience, which is that when going into business, you need to understand the terms. What are you bringing? What is the other person bringing? What are they responsible for? What are you responsible for? What risk are they willing to take on your behalf? What risk are you taking on yourself? Those things I didn't quite fully understand. I understood a bit of it, but I didn't understand the entire scope. And so it was in the process I began to realize, the terrain is not actually the best. But at that point, I had put a lot of money into it, and so I had to basically see it out and get it to the place where I could eventually exit from the business. That's one of the things. Well, the other thing which she kind of touched on a bit is obviously in the early days of growing a business, cash flow is always another thing. Because so having the cash to get things moving can be a bit challenging, especially because I started the business when I was single, right? So I wasn't married, so it was just me putting the cash into the business and things like that. Now it was good also in fact that I didn't have lots of expenses, but at the same time, it was way easier when we got married because now we had two people pulling finances together to work them. So I think that's one of the things, which is that when you're going into business, you want to understand your financial state. Basically, where are you financially? How much do you have to be able to run this thing? And knowing fully well that it will take time. I think there's this idea which obviously you get over it after a while, which is that you think you go into business and then, of course, there are people that go into business and they have smooth sailing, like my wife did, right? But you need to be prepared to that there will be seasons, there will be phases in the business, and so it won't always be quick results. So get ready to sail through the different seasons until you get to where things are all beautiful and rosy and everybody admires it.
That's actually very important because we live in a generation whereby people want to just start a business today and start to cash out right away.
Secure the bag.
And that has led a lot of people to doing MMM,
right?
Yeah,
Ponzi scheme. They tell you invest today, tomorrow you are getting 300%. And people are like, let's do it. Yeah. So, I mean, what was it like for you, between investing and getting returns, and what were the sacrifices in between that you had to pay?
So in terms of sacrifices, I think one of the big sacrifices even going into business the way I did, because a bit of backstory about how I got into business. I left Nigeria, I went to Canada to do my master's in engineering, and then after I finished my master's, or actually in the process of my master's, I began to dabble into business slightly. And so by the time I finished, I said, you know what, this business thing, I think I'm enjoying it more. I'll go full steam into it, right? So for an outsider, this young man left his country to come here to do a master's. You were expecting him to finish and go get a job. And now he says he wants to do some kind of business thing. And then, so I think for one, the weight of the expectation of others was something that I had to say, you know what, see, are you convinced of the path you want to take? If you're convinced, go for it. Now, of course, I won't lie to say that there were times when the process of things being difficult, I felt like, boy, what are you doing? Are you just wasting your time? But so basically, that was one of the things I had to say. I had to sacrifice not paying attention to what anybody else was saying. This is what I think. Now, of course, there are times when you decide to do something and you eventually realize you were wrong about it. You took the wrong path. And that's fine. You learn your mistakes, you pick yourself up and you go back. But there are unspoken expectations that people around you have. I'm sure there were people that will ask me and say, "Oh, what are you doing?" That kind of thing, right? So I think, and just I would explain and say, "This is what I have in mind. This is what I'm trying to build and everything." And there were people that will look at me and say, "This guy, something's wrong with this guy," right? But a couple of years down the line, I remember someone called me the other day and said that that back then, and I didn't know this at the time. Say back then, I used to look at you and this guy, maybe something's wrong with him. But she had seen some things, and so she had called and I now see that you were seeing some things back then that I did not see, right? And but again, in the moment, there were days of self-doubt where I doubted my own self. I thought if I knew what I was doing, right?
Let me tell you one of those moments.
Always
I can remember this. You know, you'd be telling me that with this oil and gas degree, like if you had gone to I can't remember one state, one of the provinces there, Alberta, where you worked some days on or maybe offshore, and then you come back. Like, I'll just make this now and that now, that kind of thing, right? So there was always that. There was also some days, you know, like when like, you know, right now, you know, it's this you know, struggling, trying to make this business work and put in the work that will actually lead to the business being something, right? I should have just been offshore for 3 days and come back now, and that would be it, right? So I think that's also a sacrifice, knowing that there was a quote and unquote easy path.
Yeah.
Let me just do it like that, right? But you're leaving that part because you feel like you have a passion for business and you really want to grow this. So yeah, I feel like
I think there were even sacrifices of things like there were times where just because of the state that the business was at, we couldn't really there were times when I couldn't, if I wanted something, if it did not make sense at the time, if the business could not support that, sorry, cannot support that, right? There were times when I felt, I wanted to actually invest more. So there were sacrifices in terms of just denying ourselves and things like that. So that's part of the process of things you go through, basically.
So my wife is going to ask the next question, but it's important to drive home the point at this time, because most people think it's always rosy from the beginning to the end, but it's not always so, right? And I was listening to a message today, and the person said, in life, the only limitation you have is the one you set for yourself and the ones you allow others to set for you. Because, like you said, other people made comments that are strong enough to make you, stop what you are doing and change your direction. But because you know what you believe and you know where you are heading to, you persisted, and the story is different today.
Thank God.
So a follow-up question, which is probably going to be the last question for this session, is: would you encourage young people as well who are probably aspiring to be entrepreneurs to start out, even though it might not be easy, but to start out, especially in a new country as you did?
Yes, definitely. And the reason is because we all have a gift that we can share with the world, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be, you don't have to do it that to become like a conglomerate or something, right? In your own little way, if you have a gift, I would say, yes, use that gift, because, there's so many people that really need your gift, and by keeping it or hiding it, you're not really showing it out. Now, I know that I'm also a career lady, very big on career, right? So it's starting something, a business, or being an entrepreneur doesn't mean that you can't also excel in your career, right? Because really, my career field is the same line I'm using, or that is my business line in terms of project management, education, project management consulting. And the only reason why I can educate the way I can is because I'm coming from a place of I have experience in the field. I'm not just an educator, just teaching the theory. I also have the practical knowledge. So I'm bringing the teaching gifts, because I have the teaching gift. I'm bringing the teaching gift and using my teaching based on my experience and what I know works, right? So go ahead and do it. One thing that I know so many people, if you focus on what people say to limit you from doing what you need to do, in terms of if you have that nudge to start a business and you just post, what people say, what if it doesn't work? I told you that it's what if, but what if it doesn't, but what if it does, right? So there's no trying it out and seeing if it actually works. There's no harm trying it out. The worst that will happen is it fails, or you find another business you want to do, right, or another route. Well, there's no harm. Don't listen to the naysayers. Just do it, basically.
Basically, I 100% agree with what she's saying, basically, and she actually, I want to echo one of the points she brought up, which is exactly the way because the way she started business, she wasn't thinking of, oh, I'm going to build this company and everything. It was one step after the other. I passed this exam. I was thinking, I'm looking to help other people also, because I really see that people struggle here. And so I start to help them. And so people start to want to pay for it. And then it grows from there and things like that. So I wanted to say that, yes, like she said, I would 100% encourage people to start businesses. In fact, especially if you live in this part of the world, because the system, now, of course, there's a taxation system and everything, but there are so many benefits of starting a business. Apart from the other things you get, there are lots of financial rewards of starting a business that I personally think it's a great thing to do. And like she said, I think the whole idea, the world has really changed now. There's this popular phrase, side hustle, which is really thrown around, and that's really that. Regardless of what you're doing, there's nothing. I think it's back in the day that you needed to abandon everything you were doing to go start a business. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing at your job or something, if there's something you're passionate about, something you like to do, if it's baking, if it's cooking, if it's just, I have a friend that just does. It's ridiculous that the when I see the amount of money people make from seemingly ridiculous things, and it just starts many at times with, I enjoy this thing, I like it, I do it for one friend. And then another friend is asking for it, but I'm busy, and so I just charge a little bit of money. And then someone else sees it, and then before you know it, you have a business going there, right? So I would say, you don't necessarily have to have it at the back of your mind when you're starting a business. If you enjoy something, start putting it out there into the world, and then once a business will grow out of it, basically. And
the worst that could happen is that the event will fail. That does not mean you are failed. It's the event that failed, not you. Yeah. But quick thing from Sister Gaga, most people see or want to pay for things that are tangible. How do you navigate selling intangible business ideas? Like services that is not tangible. How do you navigate that terrain?
I think the main thing is, what value are you giving? I still find it very ridiculous how I'm able to just create a value and tell this value I will give. And then people see that value and say, I want that, right? And then they pay for it. You're not getting any physical thing. I still, it baffles me up till now. But then I realize that, value is not tangible sometimes. In fact, most times, you can't really touch it, value. And that's basically what it is. So if you're selling something that is not tangible, you need to ensure that you give the value and people actually see the value at the end of the day. So it's not just about saying this is the value I will give. I know people put disclaimers that it doesn't mean that it will work for you if you don't put in the work. This is the, this person's result doesn't mean, or all those disclaimers. I'm like, it means that you don't feel you're not confident that you can give the value, and that's just my own perspective. People say, oh, it's to protect the business, but I feel like, if you know that you can deliver a value, in fact, you shouldn't be selling anything that would not give the value. Exactly. If you see it doesn't give the value, then you shouldn't actually sell it. So for me, I just look at, okay, what value do I want to give, right? And it's not about what value do I want to give. How I come up or how I have products is that someone reaches out to me, or I see what are people reaching out to me for? Because I didn't start it out as I want to do a business. Oh, I need your help with this. So need your help with that. Okay, no problem. I don't have the luxury of all the time, but I can provide this service and teach you how to do it or help you to do it. So I package it together as an offer, and then I say, okay, this is what I'm going to offer you. This is the price. If you want this value, which I know you do because you've asked me for it, then come and I'll be able to offer it to you. So that's it. There's always a value attached to it, and it's what people want.
And funny enough, even in things that are intangible in quotes. For example, if you were teaching a time management class, what you are technically offering is not a physical product that they can take home with them, right? It's knowledge. You're exchanging knowledge and experience, right? But the thing is, knowledge and experience, even though intangible, when you take it and work on it or action it out, you turn that into valuable results in your own life, right? So I think that's another thing, which is in this line of business where some things that you offer are not necessarily tangible. But for example, someone that sees the way she's combining different roles understands that this person, there's something she understands about how she manages her time. And so I want to go learn from her. Do you understand? That kind of thing, right? And so even though it's intangible, you can see some proof. And also in your own life, when you start to apply it, you know if it worked or it did not work, even though it was originally. So I think that's probably the line. Yeah, she approaches when selling things like this, basically.
Yeah. I think it's really important to kind of just echo the fact that you see a problem, you want to give a solution to that problem, rather than going out to say, well, I just want to go into business, right? Because like what you said, people decide to offer to pay, right? So I think it's also important for people to kind of start to look inward. If like sometimes it's not like I just want to start out a business, and really for you to be successful and to even keep that business sustainable in the first place, you really have to know, be able to show that you can create value that people would always want to pay for, right? And that's what I've seen with your business. Thank you so much. I feel that this is very, very important for for young people who are also aspiring to be successful. I know we are all on the journey to to success, but it's always important for us at different levels to to kind of look out and look up to people who probably have success in one area that we are also aspiring success, right? So thank you so much for sharing from your wealth of knowledge and from sharing wisdom. So we're going to finish this session now. We're going to continue the next session next time. So thank you all for staying tuned to listen, and please give us a thumbs up if you really like this video.
I would like to read your comments.
Yes, right. We'd like to read your comments, and like we said earlier, if you would like to kind of just follow up with Gaga and Tosin, please feel free to do so in the comment section. We're going to drop their social media handle, and then you can follow up with them. So until we see you again next time, we say
bye.